Coming up on Sports Spotlight with Steve Nissom, a Pine Forest track star elevating on many levels to make the most of her incredible talent, and how Australian softball players has become a thing for Pensacola State. Plus, on Alumni Avenue, we find Catholic grad Chris Rembert off to a stunning start for Auburn baseball, and still going strong after nearly 5 decades in coaching. We go deep with Pensacola State hoops boss Pete Pena. Welcome to Sports Spotlight. I'm Steve Nissom. Pete Pena, fresh off leading Pensacola State to a regional championship, is in studio to talk about his remarkable coaching longevity and success, plus the phenomenal start to a college career by Chris Rembert and the land down under connection paying huge dividends for Pensacola State softball. But we start with Ta'nae Henderson. It's tough to make your mark on the elite legacy of Pine Forest girls track and field, but Henderson is doing the program proud, something that seemed very iffy when she arrived. As a youngster, Ta'nae Henderson was all about competitive dance, but hanging around her brother's basketball practices in middle school sparked a new interest.
I would race the boys, and if they didn't beat me, they'd have to run another lap. My dad was like, I should try out for the track team, and I did it. And then my coach, Watson, he told me I was really good at it and I should keep going.
She went out for track at Pine Forest High School, where the elite level girls program has produced multiple team and individual state champions. Ta'nae's talent was immediately evident, but her commitment level on and off the track was not.
When she first came out, I was a little hesitant because I was like, you're going to have to show me that you've bought into what's going on inside the school, as far as classroom work, discipline-wise, and all of those things. And she took it and ran with it.
I realized I had something good with track. I was like, okay, I got to get my act together in school, get new friends, surround myself around better people with the same mindset as me.
There was a lot of growing pains for Ta'nae when it came to team structure, what the expectations were. But let me tell you, over the years, those pains went around, and once she bought in, it was over.
The coaches honed in on her potential as a hurdler, the challenging skill, a great fit for Ta'nae physically and mentally.
When you find a kid that can three-step, over 10 hurdles, you've got something special, especially if they can do it early. She did it within the first 2 weeks.
It's very complicated for other people to do. I'm a very hard competitor, so I like doing stuff that other people can't really do. So I was like, okay, yeah, this is really good.
She's a great dancer. She's been a cheerleader. She's got great flexibility, all of those things, and she's got speed. With her stride length, it makes her a dangerous hurdler.
She's blossomed into just that. As a junior, Ta'nae won the regional championship and finished 7th at the state meet in an ultra-competitive Florida field. The retirement of legendary Pine Forest coach Paul Bryan after last season could have been a setback, but the hurdling guru chose to still work with Ta'nae, and her impressive progress continues with new personal bests as a senior.
There's no other hurdle coach that I feel like I would be comfortable with. He's been with me since the start. I asked him, Coach, can you stay out here until I'm done? Just help me with this one last year, and then you can go do whatever you want to do. And he stayed, and I'm really excited for that.
As well as hurdles, Ta'nae is also a sensation in the triple jump, another challenging event that is especially tough to master.
When I first tried it, I kind of cried because I'm like, I'm not understanding this. I'm getting my steps wrong. I wasn't jumping in this pit right. And coach kept working on me. We did a couple drills in the grass to get me to where I am now.
She's progressed to lofty status as a senior, breaking the school record multiple times, a huge accomplishment at a program like Pine Forest, and producing the second best jump in the entire state. Just like her rise in the hurdles, it's been a combo of immense talent and now elite level work ethic.
She'll come out here even if she's hurt. She'll still want to come out here and get a workout in. That's the type of work ethic that she has because she wants to be great.
That work ethic is second to none. We have to tell her to go home. If she's not satisfied with the work she's doing, one more rep, coach, one more rep, one more rep. She's a competitor, she's fierce. She doesn't like to be second best or feel like somebody's getting better than she is.
I want to practice it over and over and over again until I get it right, and then I can leave. And they be telling me I got to stop practicing. I'd be kind of upset because I want to keep going. to get better.
One of the biggest eye-openers for Ta'nae on just how far she's come was at the LSU High School Classic.
It was a lot of competitive girls out there for the triple jump, and I didn't think I could win it. I went there and doubted myself, like, okay, I'm gonna place top 5. I'm not gonna actually win, and then I went out there and I won. I was just like, wow, I gotta stop doubting myself when I get to these big meets because I can do some great things. It was really special for me. I will always remember that.
She's received multiple Division I college offers, but not from the very top programs like her dream school of LSU. Ta'nae is most likely going to sign with the elite-level junior college program at South Plains, Texas, hoping that will eventually open all the doors. She's put herself in position to make it happen.
For the last 2.5, 3 years, she has just been what you want to be as a student athlete. I couldn't be more proud of the growth that she has shown over the 4 years that she has been here at Pine Forest High School.
If she gets the right coaching and weight room and all of that stuff that comes with college, she could be really, really special.
When you first got here and you were skeptical about track, you didn't know, could you have envisioned from there to where you are now?
Looking back, I wouldn't think I would be as great as I am now. I'm really proud of myself.
Australia is literally on the other side of the earth, but Pensacola State College has become a far-off second home for many Aussie softball players. The 10,000-mile journey is proving beneficial for all. The novelty of being an Australian in Pensacola comes with interesting questions.
Like, do you ride a kangaroo to school? Like, no, we don't live in the middle of the bush. There is actually cities around. Or they just tell us that we sound British, and I'm like, that's a totally different country.
There's always the stock standard questions about, the spiders and snakes, but then also just random things you don't expect. We got asked, like, what language people speak in Australia, which I thought was obvious, but
they just ask you to say, like, oh, can you talk for me? But then I get stuck because I'm like, what do I even start with?
What started with some coaching connections is now a full-fledged Australia to Pensacola softball pipeline. 9 Aussies have played for Pensacola State over the past 6 years.
Get a couple here, show them that we can make them a little bit better and take care of them. And I think that the word has gotten out that we do a pretty good job with them. 3
current Pirates are part of the Aussie pipeline: Kari Pritchard, Kira Trim, and Abby Morris. They're enjoying the advantages of playing softball in America.
we practice every day here, and there's no opportunities in Australia really like that. And to me, like, coming here practicing every day was crazy because I'd never done so much.
Training a lot more and stuff like that, which is like good. A lot more reps has made me feel better in my ability.
Pritchard arrived in Pensacola last year as a heralded recruit, having played for the under-18 Australian national team.
When she first got here, I was like, you might be able to be the best shortstop we've ever had. And then we went out and she didn't field a ground ball for the first 4 games, and I thought I might be the biggest liar in the history of America. But then she got her life together, and she really has turned into that player.
I feel like there was a lot of nerves and wasn't playing things confidently, but then I got some more confidence and things become easier.
Pritchard earned second-team all-conference as a freshman and is keeping it up as a sophomore, hitting for average and power, along with stellar play at shortstop. Trim came to Pensacola following her sister Jenna, an all-conference star in 2022. But Kira's freshman season was far from smooth. Significant struggles at the plate led to a loss of playing time.
Although I wouldn't want to wish that upon anyone, that's part of the game, and it did make me grow as a person. It made me realize how much I had to want it for myself and have that determination for myself.
She's totally turned it around as a sophomore. On top of outstanding play in left field, Kira's become a key bat in the everyday lineup.
The maturity and the leadership she has, she took it, she understood she needed to get better, and her hitting there now this year shows how much she's worked on it. She's had some of the best at-bats we've had here.
Morris is solid as a lineup regular, but her biggest contributions come with game-changing play in the field.
We've asked her to do it all. Last year she was our starting second baseman, now she's our starting center fielder, and again, just the growth. I think it is the practice time and how much they care and want to get better with all the time we get to have with them.
I've proven myself I can go get more balls than I could have before when I was back home. And if anything, I'm liking outfield more than I liked infield, which is something I never thought I would have said before I left here.
Yet another Australian signed with PSC for next season, while this trio will move on, having further cemented the Aussie bond with Pensacola.
I enjoy having them around. I enjoy their accents. I enjoy their work ethic. I enjoy their perspective on life. I enjoy that sometimes the American kids that have summer ball all the time come in, they're like, oh, practice, and they get to, which changes everybody's perspective, and I think it does bring something to the program.
Well, I started saying when I went back over Christmas break, I was like, oh, I've got to go home soon. And my mum was like, what? This is your home, but you just, you adjust and, feel comfortable here.
I've loved it here. Like, it'd be sad to leave actually, because it's just the growth I've had is amazing.
It hasn't taken long for Chris Rembert to find his way onto Alumni Avenue. A record breaker in high school for the powerhouse Catholic High baseball program, Rembert is wowing them as a freshman at Auburn. Just 3 weeks into his college career, Chris Rembert served notice he is a guy to watch. In a performance to remember, on the road against 9th-ranked Oregon State, Rembert smashed a 2-run home run and a 2-run double in the Tigers' marquee win. It would be just part of a dominant stretch that earned him SEC Freshman of the Week honors. He's become the starting second baseman for a highly ranked Auburn team, a huge accomplishment in itself for a true freshman. And through 2 months, he's 5th on the team in batting average and top 3 in home runs and doubles. Rembert's stellar on-base percentage of .463 through mid-April is second best in all of the SEC for a freshman. Playing in the premier conference in the nation, he's produced multi-hit games against highly ranked Vanderbilt, Georgia, and Alabama. In an early April series against the rival Crimson Tide, Rembert let him have it with 5 hits in 3 games, including a homer and 4 RBI. He's also been outstanding in the field with a number of highlight reel moments. Chris Rembert making a name for himself as a freshman for one of the top baseball teams in the nation, someone that should be shining for quite a while on Alumni Avenue. Pete Pena has been coaching in Pensacola since 1979, and he's not slowing down. For the past 16 seasons, he's been the head basketball coach for Pensacola State College, and this year was named South Atlantic District Coach of the Year for leading PSC to the regional championship and a trip to the national tournament. Pete, thank you so much for joining us.
It's a pleasure, Steve. Thanks for having me.
All right, so I want to talk about your long, impressive career, but let's start by talking about what you just did, which is win the regional championship for PSC for the first time since 1993 and a trip to the national tournament. When did you realize that this group was a special group?
I think it was really early. I think what happens with a basketball season as long as it is, you start to gauge a little bit of what is our potential, what can we be if we really get going and improve. Now, improvement happens when you have quality people that you're working with. We have a quality group of guys that we had, and we said, okay, hold on, we have something special here if we keep getting better. And we did. I think our kids were just extremely unselfish with one another, really liked each other, which allowed us to make improvements in certain areas that allowed us to become the team that we became.
Yeah, when you look at the roster compared to the other Panhandle schools, not big name type guys, not guys that came from big D1s or definitely going to big D1s. So what was it? I mean, it was a balanced team. What was it about this group that was able to be better than those teams?
Yeah, we were very balanced. Everybody had a role that they understood. Everybody knew that we can't win basketball games in this league and in this conference with just you and you. It takes the contribution of all 5 of us, of all 7 of us, all 8 of us. And everybody understood what their contribution was. So that made things really, really good. And that excited us as a coaching staff because we realize now, Steve, that, anything is possible if you guys really understand that together we can do this. And they did. And that's what made it a really enjoyable year is what it did.
Yeah, you ended up getting the 3rd spot out of the conference into the state tournament, basically a play-in game. You had to win 4 games, and you went on that 4-game run to win the regional state championship, which is phenomenal. What did you see specifically in that run, in a tournament? Because certain things have to happen for you to go on a run like that. What allowed that to happen? What did you see what was happening?
We never really got out of our element. We really were able to stay very tough, very physical, extremely unselfish offensively, but really, really played great defense the whole way through.
So I saw some of the video, and I know when you had won it, the emotions, there was definitely some emotions coming out for you. What were the emotions like for you after being able to achieve this?
The emotions were for the kids, for the guys. I mean, we returned 3 players. We had more freshmen, but these are the 3 players that I wanted back and I wanted to build from. It was Dylan Cologne, it was Dimitri Clerk, it was Isaiah Sutherland. And their leadership and loyalty was absolutely outstanding. It just put everybody else in line. So winning that, selling them on, hey, come on, we'll be back and do this thing better. Just the happiness of winning that thing with those 3 guys meant the world to me. And it was just, Isaiah we got when he was 17 years old. Dimitri Clerk, who will sign a Division I scholarship. You wouldn't have given me a glass of water a year ago for this kid. These are just guys that just kept getting better and better. Dylan Cologne. And then all of a sudden we had a couple of other sophomores come along, and Amarian Savage, who did an unbelievable job, Will Vassar. Now we formed a nucleus of, and it gave our guys coming off the bench, this is our standard, this is how we play, this is how we're going to go do this. And Steve, really, honestly, it was about as enjoyable a year. If it would have ended at the state tournament, it still would have been. But all of a sudden, you get a break here or there, and here we are.
Yeah, phenomenal run. All right, so now we talked about what just happened. Let's go back now. You grew up in New York City, like I did.
Mm-hmm.
So where did your love of basketball come from?
I had an outstanding high school basketball coach at Salesian High School in New Rochelle, who constantly, Salesian was a Catholic school. He was a brother, which is the step before you become a priest. And Brother Jim just gave me so much love of the game because I saw how much he put into it, how precise and detailed oriented he was. And when my high school days ended, I wasn't good enough to play anymore, but I knew I didn't want to get rid of this feeling. I didn't want to get rid of this love that I had for this game. So then you become a sponge, and I became a sponge with my high school coach, who I thought was outstanding, and then everywhere else. But in New York City, depending on where in New York City, the game of basketball is the love of the city. This is who we are and what we are. So, you became educated just by the media questioning things that happen, really educate you as far as, okay, let's look at things from a different standpoint on different things. And the hardest critic was me on myself when I started coaching.
Well, that started when you came to Pensacola State in 1979 as an assistant coach. How did that come about?
Chip Bowes got the job here, and I owe Chip so much. And we met in Miami when he was at Miami-Dade, and he said, come on up and be my assistant. And when I came to Pensacola, my whole life changed. I finished my education. I met my wife. Chip taught me how to be a college basketball coach. And I realized how much of the love that I had for Pensacola Junior College and the love that I had for basketball. So that's where it began, and I am indebted to everybody that I came across.
So you had 2 stints at PJC at the time, and then you got your first head coaching job at Catholic High School. You were there for about 10 years. What was that like, that experience?
Loved every single minute of it. I still, when we won the state championship a couple of weeks back, I heard from so many of my former players, and they were so proud of me that I felt great because of all those times. And I told those guys all the time, I wish I was the coach for you guys back then that I am today, because we all get better, hopefully, as we do our jobs. But it was outstanding. My years at Catholic has left me with friendships, relationships that I will treasure for the remainder of my life.
So you did that for about 10 years. Then you came back to PJC, but it was as a volleyball coach. So why volleyball?
It was funny because our AD at the time was Don Perry, and he thought that Paul Swanson was going to be moving on very quickly. So he said, Pete, come on, You could be our volleyball coach, set our program straight. And I said, Coach, volleyball, he goes, no, it's okay. You'll learn pretty quick, but I want you to set a standard for that program. And then in a year or two, when Paul leaves, you'll be able to step into basketball. It'll be easier for me to do so. Well, that became 10 years later, but I was my wife's assistant on the softball field, and I heard from so many of those softball players a couple of weeks ago when we did this thing. It was really great, but you sit there, Steve, and you miss the game that you love so much that it was almost agonizing. Brenda would say to me sometimes, my wife would say, why do you torture yourself going to all the PJC games? And I can't help myself. It's what we do.
Okay, but then it was delayed, but eventually it happened. 2010, you get named, Paul left, and you get named the new head basketball coach at PJC. What did that mean to you at the time?
It meant so much, and I thank Dr. Meadows so much for that, because I walked into his office and I said, Dr. Meadows, I can do this job. I want to do this job. And he gave me the opportunity of a lifetime as far as I was concerned. So I was really fortunate. And now here we were. And I've wanted to coach at two places since I've lived in Pensacola. I did once at Pensacola Catholic, and now I'm home. And you know, a lot of people use this job as a stepping stone to get to the next level. Pensacola's home for me, and this is the only place I wanted to be.
So what have you loved so much about being able to run this program?
Well, it's just that it's important to the city of Pensacola. I look at Pensacola State College and what it's done so much. It has done so much for so many people in this community that people may not understand that this place has been so special to the entire city. But what has really made it unique for me is Dr. Meadows said, you run our program, and I've been able to do it with the right people, with the people that I think would make Pensacola proud, would make our school proud, and that's been absolutely special for me.
Yeah, you've held your own on the court, but then also 96% graduation rate for people that have been in your program for 2 years. You know, how have you been able to make that such a focus?
We really emphasize that because I truly feel like I have a responsibility with our kids. I look at our kids and I go, listen, we have got to get you ready for when you leave here academically and athletically, and I take those things hand in hand. So, you know, with us, it's how you carry yourself off the court, how you carry yourself in the classroom, and how you carry yourself on the basketball court. The basketball part is the easy part because that's their love. That's what they want to be able to be successful in. The other things are a little bit of a fight sometimes, but they are what they are.
Well, in terms of being on the court, the Panhandle Conference is incredibly tough year in, year out. I mean, can you kind of explain just how difficult it is to find success in the Panhandle Conference?
This conference is filled with outstanding players and outstanding coaches. Chipola, Northwest, Tallahassee, Gulf Coast, all these people. Look at these. The head coach at Chipola was the head coach at the University of Tennessee, was the head coach at the University of Southern Mississippi. Head coach at Northwest Florida has been an assistant coach at St. John's. This whole league is filled with experience, great players, great facilities, great opportunities that you have really got to do your homework on and off the court, film preparation and everything to get ready. But the challenges are so large, but I love that. I mean, this is exactly what we signed up for.
Of course, the landscape of college sports has changed a lot. You know, how much has coaching changed? How much have you kind of adjusted to yourself?
I don't know that. You know, Steve, it has. It's changed incredibly because now somebody that was a great recruiter, that's taken out of the ballpark because now it's the money. It's how much money can you offer? How much money is this and that? With us, we still have that need that our kids need us to get to where they're going. So now it's like, okay, let me help you get to where you want to go, and this is our stepping stone. This is what we do. And to be honest with you, Dimitri Clark is the prime example of all of that, Steve.
Yeah, guy came from Switzerland, and you know, a lot of potential, but then you've kind of helped develop that now.
Yeah, we're proud of him, but listen, all of us can do what we do and help and instruct, but if the young man doesn't have the work ethic, then it's not going to happen.
All right, so they named the court after you in 2023, which is cool in itself, but especially if you're still coaching. So how neat is that? What's the experience like to be still coaching and the court it says Pete Pena on there?
Well, it says Joe Ambersley, and he's really the key to all of that. And Joe and I have been friends for a long, long time. I don't have the words to express. We played softball together, so he knew the type of person I was. He knew the type of competitor I was. And we've been friends for such a long time that, I really pitched, Joe, let's get your name on the court. And I did not know that behind my back, he said, I'll do it as long as Pete's name is with me.
Well, obviously very deserved. Everyone here knows that.
Well,
you've been doing this a long time, Pete. Is the passion still there? Obviously, it's still there right now. Is it still there to keep going, for an extended time?
Yeah, every time I get home and I tell my wife, I go, well, I don't know. She says, okay, we'll wait for tomorrow. And then tomorrow she knows that it's different. Steve, I always gauged this. I always said, the day that I don't want to go out to practice anymore, that will be the sign that tells me it's time to go. And I still love practice.
Well, Pete, it's been enjoyable to watch you all these years, and thanks for spending a little bit of time.
Thanks so much for having me. I truly appreciate it.
All right, that's a wrap on another edition of Sports Spotlight, but there are so many more stories to tell. Until next time, thanks for watching.